season.
Oh, dear. Hey YouTube, yeah, show coming up in about 15 minutes. So now going out on DLive and YouTube, just sorting out the Facebook stream. Blimey, yeah, okay, all right. I do apologize. This guy, I tell you, I know he sounds a bit depressed.
Each time of year carries memories.
Oh, cheer up, man. For God's sake, it might never happen.
Like a never fading whisper in the
Who do you think you are? Talking to Simon Cowell or something?
We will keep on changing all over again. Yeah, we will keep on changing. Just like another season.
Oh my goodness, it's enough to make you want to top yourself. It really is. I'll tell you why. Okay, right. We are now streaming on Facebook too, Fascistbot, as well as Youpwn, PWN. Yeah, you've been owned if you're on YouTube, and on DLive, a network which is actually worth using, and that doesn't basically just want to huddle us all together in echo chambers and pretend that we have some semblance of a network that's worth using. Oh, blimey. Yeah, DLive, folks. Get on a DLive. Don't support fascism. Yeah, and stop paying your license fee. Stop paying for pedo pals. God, blimey, I'll tell you. Right. Yeah, coming up in about 13 minutes, 12-13 minutes, Charlotte Jamieson, God bless her, talking about processed bloody food. Oh, big bloody... Oh, yeah. The kind of nutritional value of Facebook as a social network. Be careful what you consume, people. Yeah, whether it's your stomach or your head. Oh, I'm not really doing an intro yet. Just checking. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that looks all right. Yeah. Okay. Hey, folks. Yeah. Coming up in a bit. All right. Just checking all that. All right. Hunky dory. Oh, blimey. This is awful too. Oh. I've had enough of that. What a lot of rubbish. I'm sorry. Shipwrecking it, Essie. This is quite cool, this one. Fool's Gold. Hello.
I'm feeling so hollow. Don't you know?
Oh, there you go.
Don't you know? I'm living in shadow.
Are you?
Don't you know? Don't you know?
You want to get some vitamin D, girl?
I fell for fool's gold. I fell for fool's gold. What did I know? What did I know? I fell for fool's
Look at that. They got Nicola Sturgeon on backing a vocal.
Yes, I did. And I did it all for love.
Nice.
Yes, I did it all for love. Oh, they say fools believe in it, so I guess I'm one of them. Oh, don't you know? I fell for fools gold. I fell for fools gold. What did I know? What did I know? I fell for fools gold. I fell for fools.
Hey, Charlotte. Can you hear me, darling? Charlotte? Charlotte on Discord. Do, come on, wake up.
You a fool's gold.
It is, isn't it? It's that, what her name? The SMP woman. Oi, Charlotte!
Yes, I did.
8 minutes, people. 8 minutes.
Yes, I did.
And look, if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, you know, that is not cool. You are supporting fascism. You do not have to watch the show on there. Please watch it on DLive, guv.li/chaos. Stop supporting these bastards, yeah? Yeah, use there for the comments. Yeah, until your registration comes through on DLive. Use there for the comments, but watch the thing on DLive. Support a network that actually gives a damn. Oh, blimey. Hello. Nice. Oh. Hello. Is anybody on YouTube, or they cut me off again? I'll tell you that. More than likely. Do-do-do. Dear. Is everybody else falling asleep? There we go. Oh, Paul Hart, thank you. Somebody on YouTube chirped up. I know that they're alive. God bless them. Yeah, no, I'm on YouTube again. Despite bloody Soros. Yeah, no, I'm on YouTube again. Oh, hold on. What's that? Despite that bloody Soros. Oh, dear. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, share the show, folks. Please share the show. Yeah, share the phone. No, don't share the phone. Just share the show. Yeah. 6 minutes. Nice. Really? Like the bloody EU, isn't it? I know you're there. Can't get rid of you. Starts at 7, Richard. Always 7. Unless it's late. Which it normally is. anybody else remember voting for Brexit? Brexit, yeah, you remember that? Yeah. Just saying. Bastards in Westminster this week. We're watching you, yeah, we're watching you, yeah. All of you that vote against your constituencies, we bloody well want you deselected. Alright, excuse me. Just thought I'd say that. Hey Charlotte.
Hello.
Have you got a feeling? Well, you're there, lovely. About 3 minutes ago, I'll go through a bit of, the usual nonsense. Hey folks, hey Thomas. Roy Bob says, I could hear on Discord, mate. I've got no YouTube followers, just a ghosty. I don't know what that's got to do with YouTube, Roy. But yeah, if anybody wants to pop in on Discord, then guv.li/rant. Taking calls really from the bottom of the hour, I suppose. I don't know, maybe a bit earlier than that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, nice notes. Yeah, that'll do. Come on, wrap it up. Blimey. Struth. Oh my goodness. Yeah. All right, here we go. Hey folks, good evening, good people. Welcome to the Daily Chaos. The show ain't daily, but the chaos is. I'm Olly Connelly. Thanks for turning up. And now, process this. Well, Stone the Crows, a recent study tells us that processed foods are basically crap, like carcinogenic. Not so much fast food as a fast track to an early grave. We've got Charlotte Jamieson here, popping in to throw up big food with me. Calls on Discord from 7:30, guv.li/rant. And we'll see you in the comments. Hey, look, please watch this show on DLive, yeah, if you care about free speech, yeah. I do simulcast on Fascistbot and Youpwn. I have to I don't know, but for crying out loud. Let us not support fascism any more than we have to, people. DLive, guv.li/chaos. And anyway, then the show won't be out of sync. Please register there, yeah. That is the new home for Daily Chaos. Managing a transition, which is why I'm still on these bloody awful networks. Please support the show. Donate, please, to paypal.me/Brexit. Okay, let's have a bit of a roll call. Charlotte Jamieson, darling, can you hear me?
I certainly can, Ollie.
You got a bit of a sniffles today or something going on, no?
Sure, it's hay fever.
Oh, you get that, huh? All right, okay. I don't suffer from that too bad. Right, okay. So let's have a look and see what's going on in the world of fake stream. First of all the papers were leading on G7 today. Trump doesn't like this woman that's ruined Europe, basically, or something like that. You know, it's such a distraction, frankly. I mean, the only person there, seems to me, that potentially is a public servant is Trump, because he's the only one who's railing against the deep state, it seems to me. All the rest of them are just lapping up the Soroses of this world. The fascists, yeah? These corporate interests that collude with politicians and reckon that they have more right to do so than us at the ballot box. 17.4 million of us that voted, that said we want to get out of that bloody EU fascist construct. Meanwhile, though, whilst that was going on in Quebec, Canada, the real policy making was being done in Italy, in Turin, and that was the Bilderberg Group, yeah, the Bilderberg Group that the fake stream media was not reporting on, yeah, and actually it's very worrying that even the Breitbarts of this world don't seem to be reporting on it. I have to say, that worries me a lot. We should be highlighting precisely what is going on, where the policy making is going on, and it is with corporate interests colluding with political interests. People like Amber Rudd was there, yeah, at Bilderberg. Never mind who was at G7 doing some photo call or whatever, trying to, having a dick dance. It's not the puppets that matter. It's the policymakers that matter. It's the people that tell us how to live. Top of their agenda, populism in Europe. The Bilderberg Group in Turin. In fact, you know what? I'm going to put it up so you can have a look at that. Because never mind what any of these fake streamers are writing about. It's actually Bilderberg meetings. Their website itself, in fact, since some of us managed, thank goodness, to expose these folks, whilst the mainstream media was telling us for years, for decades, since the 50s, that it was nothing, just a confab, nothing at all, just having some olives or whatever. Not at all. Not at all. This is where they are telling us, where they are constructing policy on how we should live. So their agenda this year, for example, whilst those guys were meeting in the G7 smokescreen was going on in Quebec, this is the real agenda. Number one, top of the list, populism in Europe. Populism in Europe. Whilst all around them is falling down. Slovenia, the latest one. Not Italy. Slovenia is the latest one now to have more populist. Pop actually is Latin for people, for people. I say bring it on! Bring it on! Populism in Europe. The inequality challenge. So basically politically correct nonsense is their number two. The future of work. Right. Well, we're not going to have any because of automation. Cheers, So just bring in more and more migration. Brilliant, Angela Merkel. Fantastic. Bring it on with your Macroni. Bring them all in because come automation, come things like haulage, for crying out loud. The haulage industry probably all going to be completely automated. I have to say, my guest the other day, Godfrey Bloom, was saying how it didn't worry him that we'll find a way through this. Well, I'm less optimistic, I got to say, although full respect to that guy. But I got to say, I am a lot less optimistic whilst it is only people like Bilderberg that are discussing the future of work, i.e. or the future of unemployment, when we need to be having that debate within our communities. Never mind these fascists telling us what they want out of it, which is probably to cull us once they got the robots. It's how we're going to sort it out that matters. We need to be having that discussion. Artificial intelligence, it kind of fits in with the future of work as well. The US before midterms. How can we impeach Trump, basically? Free trade, US world leader, Russia! Oh, if I'm crying out loud. Anyway, there you go. Charlotte, you tell me, do you think that there was more influence going on in Quebec or Turin the end of last week?
Do you know what? I've not been paying any attention whatsoever. The only things I took from the G7 was Trump pushing someone out the way and Justin Trudeau's eyebrows.
Really? What did he do? Who did he push? I noticed actually they were walking across a cliff edge and he had the perfect opportunity to kick Merkel off it. And May. And I mean, two birds with one stone. He didn't do it though, didn't he? Blimey, I'll tell you what, very frustrating. That was a lovely looking cliff edge. It was like they were walking along the White Cliffs of Dover or something. I was just waiting for May to trip on her heel.
Did you not see those eyebrows though?
Hey, I didn't see his eyebrows. No, go on. Yeah. What? Yeah, the eyebrow thing going on.
Yeah, he had stick-on eyebrows and one of them started to slide off.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. You choose laughter, don't you? You're one of these people that chooses laughter, Charlotte. I know that.
Yes, I am.
Oh, God bless you. Lovely. Okay. So the world awaits the Trump-Kim, I don't know. It hasn't happened yet, La. It's not a news story. It isn't a news story. I'm sorry, Matt Drudge. It ain't a news story until it happens. Until then, it's just a lot of distracting balls. These people that are supposed to be on our side, Drudge is great and all that. Where's your coverage about Bilderberg? Yeah, where's that in there? They're just more distraction in my opinion. And yeah, you know what, Breitbart, I'm very disappointed with your coverage as well about Bilderberg, considering that this is the fascism that runs our world. Exaro, on the other hand, they scoop up some Brexit news with their sort of, with their kind of pull it in or something. Theresa May is leading Britain into Brexit's meltdown phase. Let's see who they're pulling this up from. Theresa May is leading Britain into Brexit's meltdown phase. Well, I'll tell you what's going on there is that they are about to basically show us 100%, yes, it's Brino. We never, ever were going to deliver the democratic will of the British people. That's what we're going to see this week. Finally. As if it wasn't already so bloody obvious. Frankly, the day after the referendum, when Boris bloody Johnson stood up there looking like that naughty school kid who'd, basically buggered up because he was controlled opposition. He never intended for that result. That's why he looked blanched. I don't know. Gove, at least Michael Gove is saying one or two sensible things, but not a lot. We got David Davis, who sounds like the boy that cried wolf, saying, oh, maybe, I'll resign 6 times or something. It's just incredible, isn't it? This government is a Brino government. It's a Remain government. They're all morons. The ones that are Brexiteers supposedly are just wolves in sheep's clothing. Am I being unfair, Charlotte?
No, I think we're an embarrassment to the world at the moment. I'm so ashamed. I
think though it's not just us. In fairness, it's the French have got the same problem with their politicians. The Germans have, and they're too cowed off the back of the Second World War to do anything about it. The Italians at least are kicking up a stink now, but again, I mean, they're basically surrender monkeys in terms of politics. They've had about 64 governments since the Second World War, for crying out loud. Anyway. Okay, let's have a look at Breitbart London, see what they're leading on. Anger over plans for anti-French jihad rapper to perform. I don't care. Where's your coverage about, what? Get it together, man. Yeah, get it together. Where's your coverage about Bilderberg? Unbelievable. That was the story. That's what was going on this weekend, people. Plus Tommy. And wow, that was amazing. Something else that wasn't covered in the mainstream media, or barely covered, despite the fact that Geert Wilders was talking there, leader of UKIP Gerald Batten spoke there, Anne-Marie Waters from Britain First was there. Some pretty big names in terms of a lot of folks who are desperate, who see no hope with the Lib Lab con, and so they're moving to the right. There's nowhere else to go. A lot of us actually just are liberals with a small L, yeah. None of that political nonsense. Do we just want to live and let live and have people treat us the way we expect to treat other people and vice versa, etc., etc. And so, we're going over to these people. We're listening to what they say. And then we're thinking, oh, my God, actually, you know what? Tommy Robinson was right. He was right. He has been absolutely right about what is a fascist religion, effectively. Okay, not fascist, yeah. It is a fundamentalist, lot of fairy-tooth nonsense, hugely misogynistic, wants to chuck gay folks off buildings and God knows what else, and basically is a step into the dark ages, sponsored by Saudi Arabia? And we want that in the UK? Yeah, right. Tommy Robinson is right, and a lot of us realise that because we're liberals, actually. Nothing far right about that. Aye. And so anyway, that was very, very encouraging to see. I don't know, it looked to me like tens of thousands of folks that were at the Free Tommy protest over the weekend. Charlotte, that very, very encouraging. Yeah, it does look as though people are waking up. I don't know whether it's too late, but
Tommy has huge numbers, more than what people realise. When he does a 5-minute live feed, there's over 10k people watching. So he has a lot of followers. And yes, he's being used as an example. Yes, he may have crossed the line, which is why he's ended up in prison now. But people are slowly waking up. And that's the power of social media for you. We can't rely on MSM anymore. So we have to push it ourselves.
I can't even see this coverage on Breitbart.
No,
What's the point of Breitbart? It's not covering something like that.
Negative stuff that they report on. The very, very small percentage of people that had that ruckus with the police. Whether all of them were Tommy supporters, or I'm actually convinced that some of them were Antifa. I mean, warm day, alcohol, antagonistic police, tensions are running high. People feel there's a lot of injustice. In comparison, if you think about the numbers that were there, they're very, very small portion. it was, really pathetic. That's all they're going to focus on. They're desperate to.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I have to say that there were some,
aren't they? Far-right extremists.
Well, I don't know if they are, if they're like EDL type characters, or if they are agents provocateurs. I do wonder. There was some footage. I put it on my timeline earlier, and then I wondered why I put that on my timeline. And I put on some other footage of the day, the march in London for Free Tommy, instead from RT. RT carried it. Russia Today carried it. Well, why was the BBC not carrying it? Does it not concern Britain? Anyway, we know the reason for that, don't we? But yeah, I put some of these folks that were chasing the police up the street, and the police were running away. But then I thought, hold on a sec. I mean, maybe I shouldn't have done that, because actually, there's probably just a few idiots. There are a few idiots. We cannot do that. When we march, we got to be good people. We got to be good. We got to be good. If you get in, we're all very, very annoyed. If you get into a situation where you're egging each other on, a cop slips, he falls on the floor, then between you could damage that cop. And you know what? He's still a human being. He may have a horrid agenda in life, but the fact is, he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand. He needs an education, not a kicking. It's just like the kids, these idiots that want the vote at the age of 16, 17 or something, because they think they know better about their country than their grandparents, who the BBC would like to deny a vote. Those kids, bless them, they're ignorant. They're just ignorant. And they need to be given an education with a great deal of patience. And you know what? We are. All of us are ignorant. It's not an insult to say that. We're all ignorant about most things. Look it up in the dictionary. It's not an insult to call somebody ignorant, for God's sake. But anyway, we do possibly, Charlotte, have also, I would have thought, some folks, it would be very convenient now if they could maybe, I don't know whether they're quite at the stage that they want it, but if the British public become aware enough, then I would have thought that, as in other nation states around this globalist world, the authorities would want to impose martial law, and the way to do it would be by seeing a cop killed because of maybe some agents provocateurs, false friends, or just because too many annoyed people get riled up, and this is a major risk, Charlotte. No,
well, they were really pushing buttons on the day, not just at the march.
Mm-hmm.
There were people. I was seeing people's live feeds. It stuck at Manchester train station. The police wouldn't allow them on the train to London.
Right.
To go to the protest.
Really?
On the underground tannoys here in London,
yes.
It was saying that it was cancelled.
Really?
Yes. So all of this was going on, as well as, the police within the crowds, pushing people about, being aggressive and, standing there with their guns. And
my word.
Yeah, you see, all of that was going on in the background that people were aware of.
I say, that's incredible. I had heard something that there had been announcements on the underground saying that it had been cancelled.
I think it was at London Bridge mainly.
How cynical is that? We're not allowed to protest now?
No.
I actually read a story earlier, and I was trying to confirm it, that was saying how the last week there was something that was put through its infancy stages as a bill that could well mature this in the next week or so, which again takes away rights of the British people to protest and things like that. We also know that the EU is looking at bringing in, what is it, Article 13 or something, whereby we are no longer allowed to share news because it could infringe copyright. Therefore, for example, we won't even be allowed to send a meme saying something like Theresa May is a traitor, which she is. We won't be allowed to state our opinions. And it's all getting worse and worse and worse.
Gosh, 1984.
Let's have a look. So we got Charlotte here. We're going to get into this conversation about processed food now. But before that, I just want to take a few comments because God bless you, you've bothered to put them in. Roy Bob says, I could hear on Discord, mate. I've got. Okay, all right, Rob. We'll try again. guv.li/rant if you want to call in and talk about big food, big pharma. It's all the same damn thing, really. No. Paul Hott, iodide, pure iodine, InfoWars, or 72-hour water, only fasting, reboot immune system. Thanks, Paul. Sync is fooked on here. Sync. Yeah, sync. The synchronization. Yes, Stav, you're on YouTube. You should be watching on DLive. No problem with syncing on there because that's where that's the first port of call for the feed. The British Hive Mind says copyright laws more like censorship laws. Yes. And he also says, and all the EU laws and regulations will be forced into our legislation. Yes. Stav Woodcover, yes, most have signed up to the new EU copyright laws and they don't even know it. Anne-Marie Waters, not Britain first, Ollie, for Britain. Thank you, Stav. Thank you. For Britain. Yes, indeed. Yes, that's, yeah. Okay. Crazy Cat Gentleman, no, you're right. It is a fascist religion with one goal in mind, world domination. Yeah, strictly speaking, according to the dictionary, it isn't, but, well, I don't know, actually. Yes, in a way, it actually is, isn't it? It is. I don't know. Oh, let's not go there right now. Today I get so bored talking about it. Paul Hart, well said. How when we wake up, God knows. And okay, over on Facebook, the police were telling people that then the march was cancelled. Says Helen Lasky-Smith. And David Laddie, the police were impersonating police officers. Great show last week with Mr. O. With Michael O, who popped in, ex-Met, ex-MOD, talking about, yes, we do live in a police state. Superb. Really, really honoured to have that guy on the show. He was terrific. Den Tarragon, Nazis were only following orders. That's right. And the Hitler Youth were just basically brainwashed with political correctness. Yes, political correctness. Which was developed by Joseph Goebbels largely after coming out of a US university, as I understand it, and which is being used so effectively now to divide us and rule us these days. Political correctness. Penny, Tommy, I was there in London and the police were taking Tommy posters and banners off people in the train station. And Helen Lasky-Smith says the cops are following orders. Sadiq was letting a helium balloon off for some remembrance. We were global, Ollie. I told Florida that we couldn't go on meeting this way. And Simon Dawson says, Terrorism Act 2000, Section 1, Terrorism, interpretation. 1. In this act, terrorism means the use or threat of action where A, the action falls within subsection 2. It's too hard to read this and to make sense of it, Simon. But thank you. And yes, I mean, the bottom line is that we've got our common sense, yeah? We know that terrorism is when children are being raped, whether it's by VIPs who are being told that they can get away with their crime. They're being told this by Tory whips who work with people like Bilderberg Steering Committee, one of the chiefs, for God's sake, Ken Clark, who say, you can, rape the kids. We'll cover it up for you, but you vote with the government. That was the government that took us in to the EEC. Heath's whip, Tim Fortescue, who worked with Ken Clarke in that whip's office, in that government, admitted that in 1995. It's on record, people. I don't know, what is that if that isn't terrorism and railroading us into fascism and pretending it's some sort of Marxist, ideological dream when it is not. That's a veil. That's a fake. We all live together. Let's all get tranny identifiers. I don't know what. Something really, I don't know what. You've either got a cock or whatever between your legs, haven't you? Stop just being confused and divided, ruled, and what have you. And logic's going out the window. And if we bother to talk out about it, we're far right or we're extreme or whatever. Or we're inciting terrorism. It's an absolute joke. Charlotte, would you like to comment on that?
Sorry, Ollie, I missed half of that. You keep cutting out.
Do I?
Yeah.
That's all right. That's what all my friends say. Right. Okay. let's just get into this then, because we have big government, we have big pharma, whatever, big this, big that. We've got big food as well, haven't we? And I personally wonder: is there actually a difference really between big food and big pharma?
No.
One thing you don't have, Ollie.
Hold on. Whoa, Jeff. One sec, sir. One sec. Go on, Charlotte. Well, go on. What would you like to say? You
no,
work
a lot
in
of
health, don't you? You do work in health.
I do, yeah. I'm a colonic therapist, but we'll not go into that. We went into that last time.
Well, a colonic therapist. No, let's not go up there. Right. Carry on. Yeah.
Yeah. So, processed food is the transformation of raw ingredients by mechanical or chemical means into food. That's what processed food means.
Mm-hmm.
You have your mild processed food. So that's, taking some vegetables, freezing it, then defrosting it, cooking it again. That's actually still processed food. But it's not as bad as like your ready meal processed foods.
Right.
Because they have all the preservatives, the colorants, the flavors and the texturants added to it. They have the vitamins and minerals added to it. It's all synthetic. So yes, when you're talking about synthetic, it's the same as the pharmaceutical industry. They've taken something from nature and made it synthetic.
Right. Okay. Sorry, you say there were two different levels of processed food there. You say the ready meal is the extremely unhealthy one, but what's the other one then? The first one.
Okay, so something basic like you've taken some vegetables, you're chopping them up, you're cooking them, you then freeze it,
mm-hmm.
and then a few days later, you then cook it again. It's gone through processes. You cooked it first, you then froze it, you then cooked it again, all a process. And through all of those processes, especially the cooking ones, that's where you're starting to losing the benefits, the vitamins and minerals.
Right.
Does that make sense? Yeah. So it's the transformation of an ingredient. That's what processed food means.
Okay. So what they do when they these ready-made meals, for example, which I think was particularly what this article that I was referring to, that I read, this report, I think it was referring mostly to ready-made meals. The deal is with those, what do? They take these ingredients and they mess around with them a bit, but your point is that they cook them, and once you cook them, that's when you're degrading the nutritional value if you don't eat it straight away, or what?
Yes, pretty much. Yes. Heat starts to destroy the goodness in especially vegetables and things like that. Yeah.
Right.
So the ready-made meals. So that's one part of it. The fact that because it's being cooked, it's starting to lose its nutritional value. The main problem is what is added to it.
Uh-huh. What do they add?
So what they add is sugar, salt, and fat. And the fat they use tends to be vegetable fat because it's really cheap.
Yeah.
And they're usually a trans fat as well, and that means it's had hydrogen added to it, and that prolongs its shelf life.
Why do they add fat from transsexual people?
They add it for taste. They're very, very, very clever. They understand how the human body works. Our brain, it's a very clever, but it's also a very lazy part of the body.
What bit?
Basically,
what's the lazy bit? You broke
the
off
brain. It can be very lazy as well. Basically, it's a lump of fat. That's what your brain is.
Right.
So these processed food manufacturers know that if they put high levels of sugar, salt, and fat in, our brain, it's sort of like, it's the same as taking cocaine. Sugar affects the same part of the brain as cocaine does.
Really?
And and it can make us addicted. So they put high levels of these three things in because they know our brain is going to release that dopamine effect, and we like it.
Yeah.
And if the brain, because the brain likes it, it's going to make you want more, and that's where cravings come from and things like that. And these manufacturers know this, which is why there's such high levels of these things added.
Right. Tell me again, Charlotte. Sorry. Trans fats, sugar, and what was the third one?
Salt.
Right. Okay. Okay. I mean,
we have taste buds to identify these things, and to, if we took all the processed food away, we'd still have cravings, but it would be what our body needs. Where processed food comes in, it's what the body wants. There's a difference.
Can people trust what they feel that they need, that their body is telling them what they need, given that...
Only if you strip your diet back to basic, whole foods. Your body
because otherwise we've got so much sugar going in. It's a bit like smoking.
We've sort of like numbed ourselves. We've numbed our taste buds. We've numbed our brain. We want quick fix, high sugar to keep us going. Our relationship to food has changed over the years. We tend to look at food now as something to have to help us keep going, rather than something to be enjoyed.
Oh, that is such a shame.
And to provide us with what we need to function.
That's awful, isn't it? Because actually this is
even,
extraordinarily
you take
convenient.
The family unit now. You take the family unit now. 50, 60 years ago, there would be someone at home cooking meals, whereas today, either because women are like, well, that's not going to be my life, thank you very much, or they can't afford to. They have to work.
Yes.
Can I chip in with something?
Yeah, Jeff, go on. Predator Jeff.
Hi there. Good evening, Ollie. Hi, Charlotte.
Hi, Jeff.
Hiya. I was going to say also for decades they've been telling us that we should be using polyunsaturates and monounsaturates, which is a load of crap, because actually saturated fat is what your body needs, because saturated fat, as far as I'm aware, is a very, very simple molecule that your body can actually break down and utilize. Your brain, like you were saying, is basically it's 40% cholesterol. So they tell us that cholesterol is bad for us as well, and it's not. It's just a transport system for fatty acids. And so you need lots of cholesterol in your body. And what they've been doing is big pharma's been putting everybody on statins, and statins lower your cholesterol. And then they wonder why people have got Alzheimer's. Think about it.
Okay. I want to come on to statins. And ask about those. But I mean what we basically have is a perfect storm in terms of food and big pharma to create a society of zombies that are sufficiently knocked out, brain dead, if you like, to go along with any old thing that they're told to vote for. Or, I mean, is this not another form of programming? Plus the nuclear family is being ruined. People aren't sitting around a table together and talking. If they are, they've probably got a bloody telly on, or they got their phone on the thing in front of them there. Is it not incredibly convenient? The kind of things that those guys at the Bilderberg meeting in Turin last week were probably plotting 20 years ago and salivating, licking their lips over it now.
Everything they're doing, Ollie.
Just a sec, Jeff. Charlotte, what would you say to that?
Sorry, I missed that again. You keep cutting out every now and again.
Well, that's Fascistbot for you, probably, I tell you. But is this not incredibly convenient? A way to dumb down society, that not only are they eating food that zombieizes themselves, but also that they are not sitting down with their families, talking about their culture, things that are really important to them. If anything, they're sat down with some telly-ready meal in front of that bloody box. Or they've got this damn thing on the table in front of them, whatever it is, a tracking device. Instead of considering their culture and saying, you know what, that Theresa May, I think that she's a bit of a traitor. Debate. I don't know. You get my idea here, Charlotte. Is it not very convenient?
It is very convenient, but it's I don't know who caused the problem, because we demand variety, and as bad as processed food is, it has sort of opened up the types of food that we eat that was introduced to us. So it's sort of like widened our net a little bit. The problem is that it's mass produced and a load of rubbish is added to it.
Why do we not class food in the same way, processed food that is carcinogenic, sugar, and too much salt? And why do we not class this? Why are we not worried about these things in the same way that we're supposed to be worried, apparently, about cigarettes?
Because people tend not to worry about something until something horrendous happens to them.
Why are our governments not worried on our behalves? Do they not have medical experts that know this stuff?
Yeah, it's all over the NHS website and stuff like that.
So they are talking about it, but they're talking about it
because you've got the sugar tax now and things like that, haven't you?
Yeah. Is it not all a bit cynical though? It's like they must have known this stuff decades ago. The problems involved, and only now, when everyone's addicted and the NHS is crippled, are they beginning to say, "Oh, actually, you know what? I think we're going to have to tax that."
Yeah.
I'm just. But
they're not. I mean, what else? Are they just taxing fizzy drinks?
It's Jeff, what's your take on this? Is it good that they are taxing things belatedly, or should we really be maybe looking more at the heart of the matter and trying to create education in school? Maybe, you know what, teaching kids to grow a garden.
Well, my take on it is taxing stuff won't change a thing. It's education that changes stuff, in my opinion. As for salt, you need salt in your diet and you need fat, but you need the right sort of salt. As far as I'm concerned, it's not table salt. Table salt's bad for you. But
there are different sorts of salt, aren't there? That Himalayan, that posh pink salt is actually not as bad as some of this stuff is bleached, isn't it, Charlotte? A lot of this stuff is bleached.
Yeah, but otherwise, your basic table salt, that is all bleached. It's garbage. Stay clear of it. Yeah, you want to be going for the Himalayan pink salt, the Celtic sea salt. It's actually grey. Look appealing, but that's because nothing's been done to it. You can get that on Amazon. It's really cheap. You need a tiny amount, but steer clear of the pale foods. So white foods.
Yeah, what I would say is that salt is necessary as an electrolyte. Your body is basically electric. So you need an electrolyte for your body to be able
Yes,
to...
you do, but you also need to be aware. If you drink coconut water has a lot of electrolytes in. It's about education. Where can you get certain things from that your body needs?
Exactly.
Mm. There are exceptions to that, aren't there? Because I drink coffee, a lot of too much coffee, freshly ground. I percolate my own coffee, but I put sugar in, and it's the one drink where I have way too much sugar. I'm pretty good with tea. I just have a few grains, to temper, if you like, the bitterness. But I shouldn't have any, of course. With coffee, I have. Well, Charlotte, what I was going to say. Well, yeah, I know. Anyway, well, what I was going to say was I use this brown sugar stuff in my coffee, but the God's honest truth is it's exactly the same as white sugar. It seems to me it's just been dyed brown. I don't think it's got any. No.
See, these food people, they're very clever how they advertise, how they make food look. They make it look, if you take a box, I think someone earlier on mentioned something about cereals and things like that. How they're advertised, they put the words whole grain on the front. Well, what they've done is, yes, there was some whole grain there, but they've pulverized it into a flour. So it's basically just as bad as any old white flour. They're very, very clever.
Flour is another one, isn't it? Yeah, flour's another one. You have to be very careful with flour, no?
Yeah.
I don't think.
And these are not processed foods. These are foods. Well, they are, but they're foods that you don't consider to be processed. Like you think about flour being milled or whatever, or maybe you don't think about. It's not like it's part of a ready-made meal. But the fact is, if you're going to make your cakes out of that or your bread out of that.
Exactly.
You're starting on a disadvantaged footing before you cook anything.
Apparently, also, Ollie, with wheat in the US and the UK, it's basically when it's harvested, they spray glyphosate on it, which means that that's an insecticide, pesticide, whatever you want to call it. So they spray that to make it easier to harvest, and that is probably causing what people believe to be gluten intolerance, which is actually to do with the glyphosate. So there's probably no safe flour to eat in the UK or the US.
Okay. So look, Charlotte. Oh, all right. This is I think people can understand the problem. I think we can all understand the problem, but that is only half the battle, because also if you're going to eat well, you need two things, don't you? In fact, it's less than half the problem. It's not even that far, because you need time to cook, which, as you pointed out, is very, very difficult for a struggling family who spends most of their day paying tax before they earn any money for themselves. And the other thing is that it's expensive. It can be expensive to eat well. No,
it can be more. It can be more expensive.
For example, Himalayan salt versus that white stuff that you get in the supermarket. What is it? Twice the price?
Well, yes, but you might use half as much.
Right.
The thing is, processed food does have a tendency to be more cost effective. That's because it's mass produced cheaply.
Ready meals are very expensive. I think we can say but that is something that you can bung in the microwave. You've got it on your lap, and you're going to the doctor next Wednesday.
Exactly.
But but
it's all refined carbohydrates though. So it's like empty food. So you'll get a sugar high. The blood sugar will skyrocket, will spike. But then it will plummet just as quickly, causing you then to crave something else a few hours later. Maybe eating half a packet of biscuits later.
Right. Blimey, it's incredible, isn't it? That's absolutely it's true.
That's what I mean. They're so clever with how they add certain things. They know how our bodies work, how our brain works, and they abuse it. They put high quantities of things in the, I'm going to call it food, to make us crave more and more. And some people are more susceptible to cravings than others.
Is there really any difference between that addition of chemicals or the manipulation of foodstuffs to create a craving and what Coca-Cola used to do, putting cocaine in Coke? Actually, it was possibly the most healthy ingredient. I don't know. What is the difference? Or
Not
nicotine
really.
in cigarettes?
Yeah. Not a lot, really. They're all harmful to the body. We haven't evolved as quickly as the world. Our bodies are struggling to deal with the world today. Just like flying and things like that. Our body, it's one of the worst things for your body ever, flying.
Really? Why?
It's so dehydrating. The pressure changes.
Really?
Yeah, it's the quality of air that you're breathing. You're in a tin can full of germs. It's really a very, very unhealthy environment.
Isn't it?
It is really unhealthy. You're sat in one position for long periods of time.
Yeah.
It's not the most comfortable. What you're given to eat is not that great.
You've got to listen to that bloody Ryanair bingo thing and all that. Right, okay. Nicotine in cooked vegetables, Dad Woodcutter's saying. And he also says sodium chloride, table salt, big difference with that and sea salt.
Yeah.
Thank F I was brought up before the supermarket cartels took over, says Stav. And he's an old boy, God bless him. British Hive Mind.
The thing is, the demand is there. It's, I live in pretty central London, and the McDonald's restaurants, the KFC restaurants, they are packed all day, every day. And the sad thing is, if you go at around 4:00 time, it's full of kids.
Yeah. Incredible. All wanting to vote for Jeremy Corbyn.
The parents are at work.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Go on.
Can I also give a bit of input? I was just going to say, a lot of people are starting to suffer with chronic disease, things linked to leaky gut syndrome, things like that.
Leaky gut syndrome, right?
Yeah, celiac disease. Have you heard of it?
Speak into your microphone, Jeff, because you sound as though you're the other side of a hedge or something. Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, have you heard of celiac disease?
No, not really. What is that?
They call it leaky gut syndrome. It causes all sorts of chronic conditions and what have you. And one of the best things for it is bone broth. We used to eat, our ancestors used to eat meat, and meat's nothing wrong with meat. People say, "Oh, you got to go vegan. We're not supposed to eat meat." It's a load of rubbish. Nothing wrong with meat. But what you got to ideally have.
Speak into your microphone, man, please.
I am speaking into the microphone.
Oh, all right, okay, all right. Carry on, Jeff. Go on.
What you got to have is grass-fed, organic meat, grass-fed. Basically, how nature intended livestock to be grown.
Yeah.
And eat everything. Don't just eat muscle. Eat the organs.
Yeah.
Make a broth out of the bones like our ancestors.
Yeah,
used to.
damn right.
Really
well,
good for you.
I do actually. We do. Me and the missus. We use the bone. To add it to a broth or something. With some potatoes, chickpeas, whatever. And the bone gives it the flavour. The marrow in the bone is good for you. It's all really tasty. I have to say, pretty good when it comes to trying not to eat processed food. As an aside, it also seems to me a crime to be buying food that isn't produced locally. It's not doing our planet any good to buy something from, I don't know, New Zealand, when it can be grown in Europe or hopefully the UK? Just as an aside note, I mean, why do it? It just doesn't make any sense to me. New Zealand lamb got a good reputation. So what? Welsh lamb is just down the road. I don't know. Just as an aside. Posh eats grapes and blue cheese for supper, says Daz Butterfield. Still got me appendix. Gonna eat grass, says David Laddie. And Joe Blogg says they call it caveman. Well, if you eat the bone raw. Thomas White, that must be another reason I'm effed. Mind you, we had no aircon when we was jumping out of planes. Thomas White, extra military, bless him. And James of the Family Gore is here. God bless you, James. Herbicide, William Markham. Yeah, you see, this is the other thing, isn't it? I mean, it's what they put on this. Oh, blimey. I mean, is it just that there's too many of us, or could we have a food system which, an industry which was not only better for us, healthier for us, but also somehow kinder for, particularly for animals? Charlotte, is that a silly dream?
It's a nice dream to have. I don't know. I think we've become pretty demanding with what's available to us, and we've become pretty impatient. We expect things straight away. So I don't know. I mean, I'm very lucky where I live. I have a lot of farmers markets that I can go to. So I do buy, I tend not to get stuff from supermarkets only if I run out of stuff in an emergency.
Beautiful, delicious
has
food.
Access to that.
Beautiful, delicious food, Charlotte. But
you can taste the difference.
They can be expensive, though. Again, no, is that not? I mean, one of the things, if you go and buy a chicken, also, which I don't know whether it is a chicken. Go on. Go on. I mean, if you go to a supermarket and you buy a chicken, which isn't really a chicken at all, the way it's produced, God knows what it is. Poor thing. It's £3. It's dirt cheap, basically, and it'll feed the whole family and whatnot over the Sunday lunch, and it can be quite tasty once you've got your gravy going and you've got all the vegetables with it and all the rest of it. If you buy that same chicken from a farmer's market, it could be £20. Charlotte?
£20 for a chicken?
Well, I don't know, but a lot more money. A big chicken.
Right. Well, this is where we go back to what's added to food.
Mm-hmm.
So the water content that's added to meat in supermarkets and things like that. So you think you're eating a whole chicken breast? Yeah. Well, you're not, are you? Because of what's been added to it.
Yeah.
If you go to a farmer's market and get a chicken, you are pretty much getting the whole chicken breast.
Yes.
You're going to be full for much longer.
Yes.
So this is what you have to keep reminding yourself.
And also,
do you want something that's going to make you feel full for a couple of hours, and then you're going to want something else to eat afterwards?
Yeah.
Or do you want something that's going to sustain you for 4 to 6 hours?
There's a lovely old saying that I think our grandparents would have used, and which actually Thatcher did with her kitchen economics. Spoke about it until she then deregulated the banks and basically flew everything in the face of what she said. False economy. So what you're basically saying is it's a false economy to eat crap.
Yeah.
We've got Joe Bloggs asking, so do statins actually help diabetes or prolong it? Any idea?
Well, statins aren't for dealing with diabetes.
No.
For lowering LDL cholesterol.
What are statins exactly? Don't we
They're just a group of medications that help lower the LDL cholesterol in the blood.
Oh, they fight cholesterol. They reckon. I mean, if we just had a decent diet, we wouldn't be needing an apple a day. Yeah, keeps the doctor away. It's basically just having a decent rounded diet.
Our bodies are designed to keep things running at an even keel. It's only when we start adding stuff that isn't from nature that we then start to have problems.
I believe that cholesterol is good for you because cholesterol actually repairs your arteries if there's any arterial damage. It also, every cell membrane is composed partially of cholesterol, and 40% of your brain is made of cholesterol. So, they tell us cholesterol is bad for us. It's not. It's rubbish. Some people say LDL is bad for you and HDL is good for you. That's another misconception as far as I'm concerned. It's a fallacy.
It's all about moderation. A little bit of refined sugar isn't going to kill you once in a while. You start having it every day in high quantities, you're going to start having problems down the road.
Yes.
Same with salt, same with fats. Yeah, our body we're not going to keel over from having one meal that's not the best nutrition wise. But to have it all the time, the body can't sustain it.
Some people are more unlucky than others in terms of what their bodies tolerate. And for example, some folks are larger, obese perhaps, not necessarily because of their diet, or partly because of their diet, but largely because that's their metabolism as well now, in fairness.
Yes. So it would take them, for them to get down to what would be classed as a normal weight, it would probably take them a little bit longer and a little bit more hard work. But it's doable. It's doable.
Oh, as a society, we're not actually tackling this problem at all, are we? Really,
No,
we're talking
not,
around
no.
it, and but actually, we're not really. We've done a couple of shows like this, Charlotte, and I've been really grateful to you for coming on to talk about it. It seems to me it's actually more important than what we normally talk about. Really, you got to be healthy in order to, march. Yeah.
This is it. You want to fight. You want to stand up for your country. You want to see your grandbabies grow up. You've got to look after yourself.
There's also another causal factor with obesity, and that is that a lot of people that are obese don't get enough sleep. Sleep is one of the most important things that you can have. You need, and it usually works in 4-hour cycle. The last half an hour of a 4-hour cycle is your what they call REM state, which is your rapid eye movement state. You need 2 good 4-hour cycles every night, so you need a good 8-hour sleep every single night. You'll probably find that your body will regulate everything and sort out a lot of your weight problems. If you've got weight problems, it might be due to like bad sleep hygiene.
Do you guys manage to go 8 hours straight without needing a pee?
Yeah, I do.
I wish I could. Yeah.
8 hours I can sleep. I could sleep them in 12 hours, no problem.
Blimey! I want to say a big cheers to my guest, Charlotte Jamieson. God bless you. God bless you, Charlotte. Thank you.
Thank you, Olly.
Can you guys hear this music in the background?
Yes.
Can you hear it, Jeff?
Yeah.
What about if I do this? What about if I do that? Can you hear it now?
No.
No? All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. I want to say, big cheers to Charlotte. And this has been the Daily Chaos. And I'm still Olly Connelly. I'll see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And we've got John Wedger. John Wedger popping in tomorrow. I think... oh, blimey. I think it's going to be a bit depressing, to be honest with you. But my God, I tell you what, he's a geezer. Whistleblower. Ex-cop. Telling it how it is with these bloody VIP paedophiles, yeah? And they're talking about the G7, yeah. Oh, they don't like Trump. They don't like Trump. What about protecting the kids? Charlotte's in the comments. Was that all right, guys? Charlotte, I tell you, it's awesome. God bless you. I tell you. Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you. DLive, people. DLive. If you haven't registered, register. Please register. We got to get off this fascist bot. Youpwn. Yeah, John Wedger. Yeah, it's going to be good. Later this week, Mark Stevens, Winston McKenzie. I think we got Mick Dundee popping in possibly on Wednesday. I need to have a word from Australia. Yeah. So, Charlotte, how much wine am I allowed to drink tonight? She's gone. She's gone. No, she's still there. How much wine can we get away with?
None.
Oh, blimey.
Half a glass of red wine.
Half a glass. God,
Yeah.
screw. God bless you all. Ciao. Yeah. I'm gonna neglect. I didn't hear that. Right. Ciao, ciao, people.
Bye.